is the Fifth Estate, coming to you from the Fort Hall School of Government in Nairobi, Kenya, and Professor Mutahi Ngunyi. When opposites unite, a new order of things is birthed. This is called the dialectics, the unity of opposites, or the negation of the negation. When enemies embrace, the power of healing is unleashed, and the soul of the nation is restored. This week, Ruto embraced Raila, his long-time enemy, just as Chebukati was being laid to rest the same afternoon. This was the negation of the negation, a unity of opposites, which means a new order of things is about to be born. The first sign of the new order is that Ruto has become the monk who sold his Ferrari. Ruto has been running a Ferrari presidency with only 2 seats. Now, he has sold it and bought a 38-seater Matatu presidency. For the last 62 years of the Ferrari presidency, with only 2 seats, the Kikuyus were guaranteed one of the seats, either the presidency or deputy president. But now, with a Matatu presidency, this Kikuyu privilege is over, and all communities of Kenya will have a chance to benefit from government. And that is the sum total of this handshake.
But how does Babaman benefit from this deal? And we ask this because politics is defined as who gets what, when, and how. Politics is about getting. What does Raila get from this deal? Some say that Ruto will make him Prime Minister. This is nothing but political nonsense. Babaman is a bigger position than Prime Minister. And we say so because Raila has been elevated by the oracles to guide, not to head. And that is how he made Kibaki president when he declared Kibaki Tosha. Even his father, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga, had been offered the presidency by the colonizers. But instead of being an opportunist, he declared Jomo Tosha at independence, and Jomo Kenyatta became president forever. Now the gods have called Raila to guide Ruto, and the KICC ceremony of Friday was a declaration of Ruto Tosha. But it was also a declaration of liberation for the dominated communities. But if politics is about getting, what did he take home to teacher Ida, his wife, on Friday evening? The MOU and the TikTok videos of the event? Total rubbish. At the age of 80, Raila is retiring, and his retirement package from Ruto is half the government for the next 8 years. Not bad, eh?
Yes. Imagine retiring at 80 and your retirement benefit is owning half the government. If this is not soft life, what is it? But is that enough? Raila's father built a political base from the 1920s, a base that is 100 years old. Then, Raila inherited it and has grown it for the last 50 years. Why should he hand over this enterprise to Ruto in exchange for half the government for the next 8 years? Some people say it is the money, but we disagree. And yes, maybe money is at play, but there is a higher quest. Babaman must hand over the 100-year dynasty created by his father to someone. And this someone is an Odinga. If politics is about getting, this is what he gets from Ruto. But which Odinga will Raila groom? Some say it is Winnie Odinga, and she fits the bill perfectly. However, is it possible that the heir to the Odinga dynasty is Raila Odinga Jr., a secret gem buried by the family for years? This might sound preposterous, but this may be the payoff Raila will take for saying Ruto Tosha. And by the way, there is no better mentor of young leaders like RJO than Ruto.
For those who do not know Raila Odinga Jr., allow us to introduce him to you. This is the little shy Babaman, the grandson of a fire-eating politician called Jaramogi Oginga Odinga. This man has walked in the shadows of his elder siblings who were groomed to inherit Baba. But none of his siblings were called Raila Odinga. This is the one. And yes, Raila Odinga Jr. or RJO was created by God a little differently. He bears the scars of Raila's struggles for Kenya on his face, but he is still Jaramogi's grandson and carries his father's name with pride. If politics is defined as who gets what, when, and how, then Raila's declaration of Ruto Tosha must reproduce Raila. And it must do so by turning his only living son into an heir to the Odinga enterprise. As we have already mentioned, Ruto is a great and compassionate mentor of young people. And he can turn this young man into another Simba. On the scars RJO bears on his face, the country should remember Kenneth Matiba. We loved him with passion because he was not perfect physically. Even Mzee Kibaki's popularities soared when he was put on a wheelchair in 2002.